Both Cuba and the United States say there's been good progress towards normalizing diplomatic ties during a second round of negotiations. Despite that, a target date has yet to be set for renewing diplomatic relations, which were severed by Washington 54 years ago. And some big differences still remain between the two sides. Jessica Stone has the latest.
The focus of these talks today is really how do we get embassies open in Washington and Havana. It's been described as a really nuts and bolts conversation. The Cuban government wants to link restoring diplomatic relations with this question of getting off that state sponsor of terror list, as well as restoring banking to its two missions here in the United States.
I can say that it's a priority for Cuba that we hope is addressed and is solved in the process towards the reestablishment of diplomatic relations, because as I already said, it would be very difficult to say that we have reestablished relations with our country, still on a list that we believe very, very firmly that we have never belonged to and we do not belong to.
The state sponsorship of terrorism designation is a separate process. It is not a negotiation. It is an evaluation that is made under a very strict set of requirements, congressionally mandated, and that has to be pursued separately, and it is being pursued separately. And we will wait for that normal process to be completed.
So now a year goes on, and the Cuban missions here in the United States still without banking services. The U.S., as I mentioned, does not want to link restoring diplomatic ties to that banking issue. Cuba has been on the state sponsor of terror list, by the way, since the 1980s because of its support of Basque separatists in Spain and the FARC in Colombia. Only the U.S. president can initiate taking them off that list after a review which is going on right now, and then Congress has 45 days to actually execute taking them off that list. And of course, Asier, we have a lot of back and forth in Congress about that very issue right now, and certainly not a 100% agreement that Cuba should come off of that list. And until it is, global banks are going to really have a hard time restoring financial services to these two missions in Cuba. They're dealing in cash right now, which is very dangerous, and the U.S. acknowledges that.